I know that you guys thought I forgot about this. Hi, my name is Valerie, and this is my channel where I talk about whatever I want. And today we're going to talk about my 2-year-old journal. This is insane to me. I cannot make it fit anymore, and I kind of messed up the binding. This is a journal that I actually made for YouTube literally 2 years ago, like February 11th or something. And for the past 2 years, I have been filling this with a weekly schedule, which is absolutely insane to me. One, because I thought this journal was going to take a year, I did not think it would take two. And also because I am kind of impressed with myself for having been able to maintain a pretty good routine about keeping this up. So basically, what I wanted today was to do two things, which is one, do a kind of like journal tour. That one will be like just quiet and just like looking over it. And then the second half is that I wanted to fill out the very final week. I want to talk to you guys in depth about how I've felt so far with like actually making this journal, the things that have changed, being able to look back at it. So, all that good stuff. So, I think I'm gonna put like times somewhere around me for whichever one you want to do. I hope you guys really like this video, and I hope you guys like going through this with me. So let's get started. Hi, it's me, and I'm going basically off script because I thought this would be the best way to do something like this. I think I did something kind of similar last time I made my journal video, so I thought it would just be a really nice way to kind of round out this entire thing and kind of call back to when I first started making this. In the background, I don't think it's going to be so much related to what I'm doing. It's more just visuals to see that I honestly haven't really changed the way that I do my journals. I still just kind of randomly put stuff down and then write where I think things would fit best. But honestly, I just can't really believe that it's already been 2 years since I made this journal and I started it and I finished it. It's the first time that I ever actually finish a journal. So I think that is, a call for a round of applause. I'll expect it from all of you. Honestly, it kind of means a lot to me. One, that I'm able to show this to you guys and kind of say, like, hey, I was able to accomplish something like this. I think it's an accomplishment. I think anyone who finishes a journal, no matter how short or how long, I fully believe that's an accomplishment. That's a level of devotion I've never committed to before. And I think it's really altered the way that I perceive journals and the way that I perceive kind of self evaluation, which is what my journal entries kind of became as time progressed. I would say that although I started making these journals kind of as a way to reflect the visuals to how I felt, it kind of stopped being that and it kind of diverged into two different ways. Where basically, one thing that I was doing was just coming up with whatever designs I liked because I would make these journal entries like way before I actually made my like weekly diary entries for that time period. But also simultaneously, it was a way to kind of challenge what I thought would be aesthetically pleasing. It was a way to challenge myself personally in trying to come up with something new, try to come up with like different looks or different stickers or different images that I like to use. And I think it's interesting how this journal, because of the way that I do it, has come to replicate two things. I'm able to use it as a way to look back and read on my feelings and my experiences, but also I'm able to see visually like the changes that I've gone through where like it's also really fucking clear like when I got into the Beatles like last year, that completely changed the aesthetics that I look to and that I use. I think it's honestly like really funny, but also simultaneously it's like really clear to me that it's a way to see that I got like this heavy, massive boost of inspiration because it was a brand new kind of aesthetic, a brand new time period that I have never really focused on very much before. And I think that's kind of the beauty of this journal and that's the beauty of this experience. Like, ultimately, what I've learned is that although I personally would not make a journal like this again, I say, even though I probably would because I'm a creature of habit, I really love kind of this collage style. I know that there's a lot of discussion on whether this should be done or not, like what is the purpose of a journal? And I understand that you could argue that this is done because it's appealing for people to see, but also, like I said, it's appealing for me to see. This is ultimately my journal. I'm the one who's able to read all of my thoughts and ideas uncensored. And I feel like I kind of want to continue to encourage this style of journaling. Although personally, I think I would change the way that I write the weeks, for example, just because, as you could see, I didn't really use those very much. And I would give myself more space for the weekly journal entries instead of just my to dos and the movies I want to watch, although that did help kind of encourage me a little bit. I ultimately think that this is absolutely something that I think, although maybe not as frequently as 1 week because it does get really fucking tiring, I think this is really good to encourage kind of this sense of self exploration as to what we want. What are we attracted to visually? What do we want to do like artistically? I think that's kind of the good side about all of this and the ultimate life lesson that I have learned amongst my 2 years of making this journal. Like, yeah, sure, I could say whatever I want about myself as a person. I think there's way too much for me to explain within the span of like 10 minutes of me talking. But my focus, I think, also shows what was more important to me, which was the visuals. I'm happy that I was able to read all of my journal entries, but that's not really what's important to me because that's not the way that I talk to myself, and that's not the way that I communicate with myself. The way that I do that is through these visuals, and that's why they're such a focus for me. And that's why I kind of encourage for this to also be a focus for other people who feel that maybe just writing down your thoughts on like a simple or blank journal might not really be the most like riveting thing in the world. Like it is possible that maybe you don't even need to write anything down. Maybe your style is even farther into visuals than mine is, where maybe the thing that would speak to you the most would be something like a junk journal or something that's a travel journal where you glue in the pieces of things that you purchase throughout the day or the week or whatever. I think there is something to be said about visual journals, but I think that is the biggest thing that I've taken out of this is that it's really helped me explore and understand my form of communication to myself. What is it that I think is more important? And honestly, it is all of these cute, fun little Pinterest things that I'm putting in. Like, I don't care that it's maybe cringy or try hard to some people. Like, I really don't. I think it's what works for me. I have a lot of fun color coding. I have a lot of fun trying to find new images so that way nothing repeats. I like being able to, if not tell a story with my images, at least show to myself for that week the things that caught my eye, because ultimately that is what I'm going to remember more. For every journal entry that I made that showed, a tag that I had with something that I purchased or a ticket entry or anything like that, that's going to be such a strong reminder of what I've done in comparison to just writing it down, because ultimately that is how I think and that is how I do things. And it's just something that was really nice to be able to look at through this kind of transitional period where even now, like I'm only 25 and I'm still really trying to figure stuff out. I really do not know myself as well as I would like to. But I think sticking to this journal has really helped me get closer to understanding myself in a way that I would not have gotten to if I had not done something like this. I don't think that a 2 year journal is my liking, just because I do think that's quite a long amount of time. And I would prefer to have a smaller journal just to fit the single year. But I just really like this overall. I think it's just really nice to look at. I don't really have any other method to say it other than it feels close and it feels tender to me. Even if it's just 5 sentences that I wrote down because I was in a rush or I just didn't even feel like writing that week, it just makes me really happy. It makes me feel happy and it makes me feel like this is something that I want to encourage more people to do. Like I think that's the main thing that happens with all of my videos. I feel nowadays is that I'm encouraging people to explore themselves more and understand themselves better, because that's something that's very difficult and very like scary to do, because you kind of feel as though you yourself are cringe and you yourself are like a try hard. Like no one else is going to see this but you. So like why are you doing so much? But that's also like the reason you should be doing so much. Like this is for you. This is so that way you can look back at it and say, "Oh, that's really cool that I did this," or "Really cool that I said that." And I kind of want to just keep that encouragement where, like, maybe you don't do a journal the way that I do. I think I said this in my first journal video as well, which was that even if you don't do a journal the way that I do a journal, because I think that it is a very personal experience and you yourself have to figure out what it is that you like and what you don't like. I think the reason why I've stuck to this journal so much and why I wanted to make this video showing the entire process and my last entry and everything in the middle is because I want people to be able to see that, like, not all journals have to look the same. You can do literally whatever you want, and as long as it speaks to you and you like it, that is honestly the most important thing out there. And you genuinely should not think otherwise. And honestly, even if you do start a journal and you find out that you didn't really finish it after like maybe a month or something, like I don't want that to really be like discouraging, because like I've given up on a lot of stuff before. It happens, we're human. But I think the difference is that you have to remind yourself that you can always get back into it. You don't have to start a new journal every time you give up on one. You can just open it and start on the next page and say, hey, it's been a year, but I'm ready to do this again. And I think that's the ultimate beauty of it all. As I, go in here and sign for my final day on this journal, that is really what it comes down to. There is no true start and there is no true end. It's whatever you decide for it to be. And I hope at least someone takes that to heart, even if it's a little hard to swallow. Wasn't that great? This totally is not a magical time cut that takes 5 seconds after my intro. Honestly, I just really hope that you guys like this video. I hope you guys like going through this with me. I just think it's really, really cool to be able to look back at what honestly were some pretty formative years recently. And I like that I've kind of gotten into the habit of this. I really hope that this inspires you guys to maybe not do it the way that I do it, because quite frankly, it's very time consuming, but hopefully keep a journal of your own and maybe figure out a way to have something that you can look back onto and just reminisce and read on for fun. I really hope you guys like this video, and I'll be seeing you guys next time. Bye.